since you had to walk out of here. I've been having a record year.
The days are getting longer. It's sunny outside. We've got highs in the 60s this week. That must mean one thing. Baseball season's right around the corner, and with it, the return of the Extra Finnings podcast, brought to you by Atlantic Bay Mortgage. Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group is the presenting sponsor of Extra Finnings. Atlantic Bay believes lending peace of mind goes beyond mortgages. I'm your host, Matt Wersberger. Joined today, the star of the show, the namesake of the pod, head coach of the Old Dominion baseball team, Chris Finwood. And we've got an international tiebreaker in Extra Finnings this year. We're starting off with a man on base. It's Bo Cowens. Bo, Coach Finney, how are you today?
Good.
Hey, we're happy Bo's here. Thank you, Matt. We appreciate you picking us up and being our host this year. We're going to have a lot of fun with it like we always do. And adding Bo to our lineup is going to be a lot of interesting insight. Bo's a great baseball fan, and I know, some people would like to know a little bit about him, certainly, before we get into our team and the season.
So I went to Old Dominion, and I'm a huge baseball fan, and I stumbled across the baseball field when I was waiting to go home. And like Finney says, he fed me. I'm like a stray cat. He fed me, and then I never left. So he gave me a hat and a shirt, and I never left because I've been been there ever since. Even after I left ODU, I still come to the scrimmages and the games, and many games as possible, because I'm a huge baseball fan. It's my therapy. So I'm glad you're getting they're getting out there more and getting ready to start games, because I can yell and scream and do whatever I want to do. And it's like my therapy. I don't have to pay for a psychiatrist anymore. I can just go to the baseball field and scream my guts off, and I'm good.
For those of you that don't know, Bo's a very strong motivator. Does motivational speaking. He also has a great Instagram page. And what's your Instagram handle, Bo?
It's BCow82.
BCOW?
Yeah, 82.
82. So follow him on Instagram. He's got some great videos, motivational things on there, things I think people will be definitely interested in. And also, while you're doing that, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ODU Baseball for updates on the program. I noticed yesterday they had Brock Gagliardi on there with the 10 days till we open up, since he's number 10. So our sports information people, our interns are all doing a real good job with the social media, and everybody's getting excited. I mean, 10 days till we open up. The weather's turned a little bit for us here this week. We've battled through a lot of cold, and now it's we're going to have 4 really nice days in a row, so it's going to feel a lot more like baseball weather.
Before we can start 2022, we need to take a look back on 2021. As the intro song alluded to, it was a record year for the Monarchs. Won their first Conference USA tournament. First time being a number 1 seed in a regional, ranked as high as 11th in the country, set program records in home runs. And Coach, I think first we need to go back to 2022 for a second. To have the season end the way it did early with the pandemic, what was that arc like emotionally for yourself and the team to go from cancellation in the middle of March to conference championship in just a little bit over a year?
Yeah, we 2020 was certainly challenging. We're only playing 16 games. We were off to a pretty good start. We were 12-4 when the season got canceled. Right before we're supposed to play Florida Atlantic to start Conference USA play. And it was all just gone, just like that. So really tough on our players, really tough on our coaches. Then we came back and had to start everything later because of COVID. But I do think it created a real appreciation for just the ability to be out there together, play together, enjoy the game together. We started the season in 21 with hardly anybody allowed to be at the ballparks even though it was outside. There were limits on how many people could be there. You had to have a mask. We really didn't play in front of any particularly big crowds because of that until the very end of the season. And so our guys had to get used to that part, you know, and then you end up playing in front of 8,000 plus down in South Carolina in the regional. But just a fantastic year. So many highlights. You know, we had great pitching performances. We had, you know, great hitting performances. We won games in every fashion you can imagine. And, you know, to go 44-16 is really hard in a college baseball season. And, you know, to be a one seed is really hard, especially for a mid-major. There aren't many of those ever. And so we were excited about that. The, you know, the disappointing part was having to go on the road in the regionals when you'd earned a host, but that's where we were. And it's done a lot of neat things for us and creating momentum for the new stadium project, which we'll talk about later. We got most of our guys back. We lost 3 pitchers to the draft. One hitter was a 5th-year senior, Kyle Battle, who had a great year for us, an All-American year, but we've got everybody else back. So it's a veteran team. The guys been working their tails off, and we're awful excited to get here and get ready to get started.
That's right. Those 44 wins last year, second most in program history. But what was your take on the 2021 season?
It was good, and what you don't realize is they only lost 1 series the whole year, and that's very, very hard to do. That's because baseball you can just it's not your day. You can lose it in a ball in the air. It lands, you can't catch it, you know, and it's you know, so you only lost 1 series the whole year and split with Charlotte, and that was amazing because I've never seen, as long as I've seen you guys, I've been watching you guys. I've only remember you lose not losing like 2 or 3 series, and then you know you always lose 2 or 3 or whatever, just because that's how it is. But y'all only lost 1 series the whole year. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bo. You know, in 2017, we lost 2 series the whole year, but to go a whole year and lose 1 conference series is pretty good. So, and we came back and avenged that, like you said, the next week by beating Charlotte here, who had a fantastic club. And, you know, the Conference USA schedule this year will be super challenging. I mean, we add Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss to the regular season rotation, in addition to the tough schedule we already had. So conference didn't do us any favors in terms of the schedule, and that's for sure. But we'll be ready for it. And, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to step up. We've had some guys really look pretty good in the preseason, and, you know, it's almost time to get out there and start playing somebody else and see where you're at.
You'll get that opportunity on February the 18th as you start the season with a weekend series against Iona. It's one of 34 home games this season at the Bud. And, of course, the home game against Virginia, Harbor Park on April the 26th. And in total, it's 55 games in 2022. 15 of the first 16 at home. There's plenty of opportunities for fans to come out and see the Monarchs.
Yeah, it's a good place to watch a game when the weather's nice down Raleigh Alley, certainly. And we think we're going to have another team that's going to play an exciting, fun brand of baseball to watch. So like you mentioned, we've got Virginia late in the year at Harbor Park. You know, we actually set the state record for attendance at a baseball game against Virginia at Harbor Park. I think it was 2014 maybe. And so that's always a neat series. They've got a fantastic program, and it's always you know, fun to play them.
Yeah, in addition, as you mentioned, Southern Miss and La Tech will be coming to Norfolk. Those were 2 teams that made the NCAA tournament a year ago as well. So it really is a tough and challenging schedule up and down at home.
It is, and you know, our non-conference games as well. I mean, we've got VCU home and home; they're an NCAA tournament team. Virginia home and home, NCAA tournament team. East Carolina home and home, NCAA tournament team. Campbell here, NCAA tournament team. In addition to Charlotte, Southern Miss, Louisiana Tech, FAU's a perennial NCAA tournament team. They didn't go last year, but it may be the most challenging schedule we've ever put together. So we're certainly going to have to play well to have a chance to win some of these games. But that's what you want. You know, when you play in a good program, you play good people, and you have to play a good brand of baseball to win. And what we tell our guys is, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to assume everybody's really good. And in most cases, that's a good assumption. And we're just going to have to play really well to have a chance to win. You got to catch the ball. You got to throw strikes. You got to get a couple big hits, and you will have a chance to win. If you don't do those things, you won't. So we work on that every day, that kind of mindset of, you know, just not worry about who you're playing, just play well, and then we'll figure the rest out.
Bo, is there anything in particular in the 2022 schedule that caught your eye?
You're right. Conference USA didn't do us a favor, but I'd much rather play them than and help for RPI than you know, that's not gonna, you know, bother you. You know, if you lose one, you know, it's not gonna put you in the tank. And if you definitely if you go to Southern Miss and win 2 out of 3, even though it's very hard there to do, it's a RPI booster more than anything.
Sure, you're right. You're right. It is, and I think the conference is going to be, you know, they're predicting 4 teams out of the league to go to a regional again. Who knows what that means? My dad used to say those preseason predictions, you know, that in a quarter gets you Sunday paper. So they don't mean anything. The ones at the end of the year mean something.
Yeah. Did you pick us 6th this year or 5th?
Always, every year.
Was it 5th or 6th?
I always pick us 5th, no matter what.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about the pitchers, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's correct. Just tying a bow on the schedule. The voucher books are available at whynottix.com. Each voucher book contains 25 tickets. Its price is $60. That's a 60% savings on single game ticket prices. And the vouchers are good for any regular season home game at the Bud. You can present them at the gate for admission. And if that doesn't interest you, single game tickets also purchased for $5. So yeah, we're going to look ahead at the pitching now. As you said, you lost 3 arms to the draft, a pair of starters and Hunter Gregory and Ryan Moore, and Aaron Holiday, a reliever, really came on late in the season. It's not easy to lose 2 mainstays of your weekend rotation, is it?
No, it's not. But what people forget is, you know, we had 4-game weekends last year, and we've got 2 of those 4 starters back. So, and they're both 5th-year seniors. You know, Tommy Gertner and Nick Pantos have pitched a lot of innings here in our uniform. They're very experienced. They're great competitors. You know, so we've got 2 of those 3 weekend starters, you know, returning right now. In addition, there's a couple other guys, you know, vying for that 3rd spot, or one of those other 2 that are throwing the ball well. We've got a junior college transfer, Sam Armstrong, who's a big, strong right-hander. And we've got a sophomore returning, Jacob Gomez, lefty, that's been throwing the ball real well for us. So I think those 4 guys will be the main guys in the mix from a starting standpoint. You know, the pitching staff, the maybe the most exciting part of it is having the 2 lefties back in the bullpen, and Jason Hartline, and then also Noah Dean. And so they're like fire and ice. You know, one throws heat and the other one throws icicle cutters up there for you. So they are both throwing the ball well. They're both healthy. We will lean on them again out of the bullpen. We've got some guys that have gotten better, you know, as well. Brett Smith is back for his 7th year, which is an amazing stat. A 7th-year senior is working on his doctorate. And Brett's finally all the way healthy. He's added a cut fastball to his arsenal, and he's really been throwing the ball well. And, you know, we've got Joey Rodriguez, who's been here. He's a junior. Had a great summer last year out there in the Alaska League. His team won the championship, and he was one of the all-league closers. He's throwing the ball real well for us. He's kind of a sidewinder, lower arm slot guy. Brad Dobzhansky is a senior. Redshirt juniors throwing the ball well for us. A grad transfer, Pete Nielsen, throwing the ball well for us. And then we've got another true Joey DiChiaro, who's a sophomore lefty, throwing the ball really well. And then we've got another true freshman, Blake Morgan, that looks like a potential starter down the road. Vincent Becher's kid in his third year here. Vincent's a great competitor, really done well. So we've got plenty of options there. We just got to get them out there. It takes the first month of the season to put the pieces into the right holes. And all the games, whether it's the weekend or the week, are the same. They're non-conference games. So you try to mix and match and figure out who's going to be, best in these definite roles before you get to conference play. And it takes a little while to figure that out. And it'll be the same this year. But as we go, we'll get closer to it. And, you end up getting down to throwing, 10, 12 guys by the time the conference season rolls around, most of your innings. And so that's what the competition is about, is getting in those spots. And so I'm really, really happy. And Coach Marin, our pitching coach, is really happy with the chemistry and the attitude of that pitching staff. Great leadership on it. And the guys just come to work every day, and they're all getting better. And right now, as good as our hitting is supposed to be, the pitchers are certainly way ahead of the hitters. I mean, they have definitely been winning the brunt of those battles in our early season scrimmages, which is the way it should be if you're going to be any good.
One note on Noah Dean. Last year, he was the conference leader in saves and top 30 in that as well. And he's garnering preseason All-American recognition as well.
Yeah, Noah's got a fantastic arm. He had the nerve transposition surgery in last summer, and he finally feels all the way healthy. Last Sunday I think the high was 32 degrees, and it felt much colder than that. There was probably 20 scouts in here to see him throw, and his first pitch was 95. So he feels good. And, it's a lot of comfort knowing you have him and Jason down there in the bullpen to wrap up games for us. Well, you saw us play over the weekend. What did you think?
Yeah, you look good. But Noah Dean and Jason Hartline are two polar opposites. Like you said, one throws like some breaking balls, one throws like flames coming out of his arm when he throws. It's really. But they both have a role to play. They both have a role to play on your team. And so that's how you have to, that's how you have to mix it in and make sure they both work in their own ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Jason, Aaron Holiday had a good finish to the season and got drafted. Hunter Gregory and Ryan Moore were both all conference pitchers for us last year, and they had fantastic years. And Ryan Moore's last 5 starts were as good as I've ever seen from a starter, like at the end of a season. And they were all big games. But our overall most valuable pitcher, in my mind, was Jason Hartline. What he did for us every week was just nothing short of fantastic. And I think by the end of the year, he was just out of gas, maybe. We rode him pretty hard. But to have 60 strikeouts and 10 walks in a college season, 6-1 is pretty incredible. Batting average against was really low. His ERA was really low. So he's actually been extended out a little bit more. So he's a guy that could come in and throw 3 or 4 innings, I think, this year. And we'll see how it goes.
We'll move right on ahead. Last Friday, you all hosted your annual Step Up to the Plate fundraiser. Just give us some of the highlights of that event. It's always a good time to get together and celebrate the team and honor someone with the Bud Matheny Award.
Well, Bo, you were there. Give me your impression of it first.
The food was good. The fellowship was good.
What was your favorite food?
The meatballs. The meatballs were good.
Meatballs were great.
The meatballs were good, and everything was good. Fellowship with the players and the fans. That we actually had to dress up a little bit, so we weren't all in sweatpants and shorts, and it was I couldn't recognize some of them dressed up,
I know those guys clean up all right, don't they?
They do clean up all right. It's a really nice time to enjoy and get to meet everybody, meet the fans, and hang out with all the other former Bud Matheny winners and stuff like that. It was really cool.
We had a fantastic turnout. I think the largest one since we've had it there. And so it was a nice evening. Paul Schau is our Bud Matheny Award winner. A great friend of mine, was my son's high school coach. Super, super person, fantastic baseball lifer. I really liked, the words he had to say, everybody. We had some good conversation about the team, introduced the guys. I thought our seniors did a real good job and we certainly always appreciate Ted Alexander helping us as our voice and our unofficial host. It really makes the event much nicer. And then we finished up, talking about the new stadium project. And although we don't have any, particular numbers or timelines to share yet, it's moving along. We finished up the feasibility study with a company called Populous. We have some great drawings, technical drawings, pictures, things that we can present to people. It's going to be about a $20 million project, and our goal is to be playing in it in the 2024 season. So we've got a couple years to work on it and get it going, and that's our hope. It's been a long time coming and certainly needed, and we hope anybody would get behind this project. When you see what a great group of kids we got, the thing I say to people is, this isn't about me or any one particular person. This is something that Old Dominion University deserves. We do have a good baseball program here. We also have the worst facility on this campus, and it's not something we complain about it. I have to thread the needle when I say that, because we will never use that as an excuse. We actually wear it like a badge of honor, and it's not going to keep us from doing what we want. But the people we're competing against, have much nicer facilities, and that's a constant challenge. So that's just the reality of it. And we hope people will get behind this new project.
I've seen the renderings. They're fantastic. And for anyone who wants more information on the project and maybe wants to see those renderings themselves, our staff writer, Harry Minium, did a piece in December, and that is pinned to the top of our Twitter feed. So go to ODU Baseball on Twitter, search the top of the page, links to that story's right there.
And in the future, Matt, too, I think we'll have John Belines from ODAF on as a guest, Rick French from our facilities on as a guest. When we get more concrete information and can share that with people, I think people will be interested in seeing some of that and listening to some of that. And then Harry, you just reminded me, Harry would be a great guest to have on here. I mean, he writes about all things ODU athletics, and, certainly a great friend personally and of our program.
I think that all sounds good. We booked out half the episodes this season with guest hosts, and we haven't even wrapped up the first one. So that's excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody, tuning in. As always, please reach out on Twitter if you got song suggestions, or Instagram, things like that, to me, and we'll put them on there. We typically will try to have a theme as we go. And part of one of the things, Matt, what else do you have on the agenda?
I have nothing else. I think we covered a lot today, and we'll transition to Iona and preview the position players on Monday. I think we're moving back to our usual Monday time slot moving forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try to get this in on Monday sometime, so it's out on Tuesdays. Where can people find the podcast, Matt, when they want to search for it, and when will it be up?
Yeah, the podcast will have a home on odusports.com under the Monarch Media tab. We'll try to put it up on anchor.com as we have in the past, and we'll tweet links out to the podcast on our Twitter, and we'll include it on ODU Baseball's Facebook page as well.
Okay, when will this one be up, you think?
We'll see. I'm working from home. I don't have the best internet, so we'll see how long it takes to upload. Hopefully by the end of the day. If not, it'll
sometime tomorrow, right? Okay. Yeah. So people that are listening, they'll he'll be able to see it.
Yeah. If you're listening to it, you found it. Good job.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. And we're glad to have Bo this year. He's going to give us some good insight as he gets less nervous on here because this is the least I've heard him talk probably ever. So we'll get him on there and he'll be giving us some good insight. Hopefully he'll get to watch some of our scrimmages this weekend. So next week he can tell us what he thinks.
Yeah.
He'll be ready for
Thanks for having me, Coach.
My pleasure, buddy. My pleasure. Matt, thank you again. And we'll see everybody next week.
Yes, that's correct. For Bo Cowan and Coach Chris Finwood, I'm Matt Wurzberger. Thanks for joining in on the Extra Finnings podcast, brought to you by Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Until next time on our patient, take care.
I've been having a record year.